Garrick, we had the summit in December, we had the recent summit in the Soviet Union, and when we hear about the summits and the treaties and things that are involved, we look at it in a very detached way, but now part of that treaty is coming home to touch us.
Right here in the United States, this week in a small town in Utah, 30 Russian inspectors will be taking up residence. They are coming as part of the Soviet-American agreement to abolish medium-range nuclear missiles, including the Pershing II missile. American inspectors will be verifying Soviet compliance over there, just as the Russians will be doing the same here. After years of high-level negotiations of those ceremonies at the summit, the result of nuclear arms control is coming home to one American community. We were curious what people there in Magna, Utah thought of that, so we went there to find out. Magna is its name. Main Street has seen better days. The last picture show closed here years ago. That's because of the copper mine up on the hill. 7,000 people used to earn a living here. Today, barely 1/4 as many do. Magna is a small town back on the map because the Russians are coming. They talk about it at Dyke's Pharmacy.
You afraid of the Russians, Earl, coming?
They tell me they're not coming. They're going to Salt Lake.
Oh, I just think people's got to mingle. We got to find out their way. We got to find out what they think. I imagine.
Haven't we got to sign out here? Welcome to Magna.
We have no idea what they're going to think of Magna. They'll probably think we're just a little hick down because all of our buildings are vacant.
Magna's always been an ethnic community. There's no reason to see any change. Sure, they'll meld right in with the rest of the people.
They'll melt right out, too, when their tour of duty's over, too.
At his hardware store, Terry Kinder thinks about the Russians, too.
Should we trust them, you ask me? The answer to that is no, N-O. Have they stuck to any of their treaties? No. So we're going to keep our eye on them.
Outside town at the Hercules missile plant, the ground is being prepared for the 30 Russians who will man their inspection posts, making sure that the United States does not cheat on its side of the missile agreement. The land here is home to Evelyn and Kenneth Goebel. Her ancestors settled it in 1850.
The whole village, the whole family village, was sold to the Hercules Company in 1913, and I was born in that village.
Born where the Russians are going to be.
Where the Russians are going to be. I was born right there, and there's a whole family village. Right, I used to ride around with my grandfather, who's buried just over here, ride around the area where the Hercules is built now. I'd ride around on the plow.
And her children were born here, including son Kent. The whole family is Mormon, and they reflect a fundamental conflict in American attitudes towards Russians, communists, deep mistrust, versus an optimism that problems can be solved if people can know each other better. After church last Sunday, we went home with Kent Goebel and his family, watched them prepare Sunday dinner, and then listened as they talked. As once distant subjects such as arms control and superpower politics came home to small-town America.
You have to be able to benefit from this. We've got to have positive attitudes and be willing, yes, be careful, but be willing to accept them. I think it's going to be harder on them to come here and see our freedoms and see how we live and how we come and go and the advantages we have.
I think the funny thing about it is we're all saying this is a start, but they've been coming here for years, you know? Nothing gets accomplished by having one small town.
Yeah, it does. At least, well, maybe this can help us so we won't go to nuclear war. I mean, you don't know we're not going to go to nuclear war. Someday maybe we will.
Oh, I'm a little apprehensive. I don't think there's a little bit of too much opportunity for spying.
If there is one person who should be worried about the Russians, it is David Thompson. He is the manager of the missile plant and will have the 30-man Soviet team on his doorstep.
They would be able to inspect anything leaving the plant that's the same size as a Pershing motor or larger.
24 hours a day?
24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And they will be right in the middle of one of the most sensitive military areas in the nation. Hercules no longer makes the Pershing missile, but it is making parts of other strategic nuclear weapons. The Trident submarine-launched missile, the Minuteman and MX missiles. The nearby Hill Air Force Base is not just any Air Force base. It provides support for intercontinental missile bases, and it is in charge of maintaining communications in case of nuclear war. There are also enormous military proving grounds where weapons are tested, from artillery to B-1 bombers and cruise missiles. The Russians, who were able to pick from among a number of possible inspection sites, knew exactly where they wanted to be. Their presence will pose serious security problems for the military and defense contractors.
Personally, I would have preferred they not be here. It's that simple. But we have a treaty. It's been ratified by the Senate. It's national policy, and we'll support that policy.
And that is what the people of Magna are doing too, although Terry Kinder is still suspicious.
Uncle Sam will be right here with us there at all times there. And then if they do step out of line, I'm sure Reagan or somebody up there on the top will just pick their little butt up and send them back.
Late one afternoon, we dropped by the local post of the Veterans of Foreign Wars. It's a gathering place at the end of the day, a place where you might expect a good dose of hostility about the Russians. But even here, the attitude was, let them come. I talked with Bill Clark.
My personal thoughts are I think we're getting along better with communists today than we have since the Second World War.
What do you think has changed some attitudes here?
I think the change is people all over are getting educated. They're becoming more educated on what's happening to the other countries. Their propaganda is not getting all the fight it had 30 years ago. People they're not taking the word on some bunch of propaganda. They want to see themselves.
And now the people of Magna will be able to see for themselves at least a small 30-man piece of the Soviet Union. Kent Goebel is relaxed about that. A Mormon, he wonders whether the Russians know what they might be getting into in Utah.
They probably ought to send some gendarmes with them to protect them from the Mormons because, as you know, Mormons would like nothing more than to convert the entire world. And with the passion and the zeal that we have, I suspect we might get a Russian or two.
What is most likely to happen here is that neither side will convert the other or subvert the other, but simply go about their lives, each side doing its job. So that one day, the Russians will no longer be something to talk about in Magna. They'll just be part of the landscape. We should add that the Russians will not be bringing their families with them, at least at first. Their assignment is not to win friends, but to keep their eyes open for whatever military information they can get. And the Russians will not be limited to one military plant. Under the treaty, they and American inspectors in the Soviet Union have the right to visit certain other military sites on short notice. For both sides, it's a new experience, and the people in Magna will be watching it close up. And we'll continue on Sunday Today in just a minute.